Gavin Newsom has had a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad 48 hours. It began when he couldn't even draw 150 people to his rally. Yeah, that shot right there really puts into perspective how tiny that rally is, because when you see it on social media, it looks like it's this giant stadium or gymnasium. But when you see that full view, it's just the people behind Gavin Newsom, and he's not even speaking to them. His back is to them, and instead he's just speaking to the press there. It's really embarrassing because it's no secret that Gavin wants to run for president in 2028. So you can think of this as an unofficial kickoff, and it was just bad. So the reason he held this rally is because he now wants California to retaliate to what's happening in Texas. Basically, he wants to redraw the districts in California as if California and, Illinois aren't gerrymandered enough. Now, you would think Gavin Newsom would be happy if more people showed up. After all, the rally was really small, definitely a lot smaller than a Trump rally. Well, a lot more people did show up, but there was just one problem for Gavin. They were ICE agents. That's right, an ICE raid was happening right outside the rally venue.
We're here making Los Angeles a safer place since we won't have politicians. We do that ourselves. So that's what we're here today. As you can see.
Well, as you can imagine, inside the rally, they got very agitated, and the opening speakers before Gavin got on stage started slamming the ICE agents that were outside, just doing their job, trying to keep the city, trying to keep America safe, and enforce the federal laws that are already on the books. And apparently now, after, COVID, after the BLM riots, and after the Los Angeles riots earlier this year, suddenly the Democrats have a problem with face masks.
But these are extraordinary times, and extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. We have witnessed masked gunmen kidnapping our neighbors off the streets, and my understanding is they're outside waiting to do it again.
Now, you'll notice there, if you look at the podium, Election Rigging Response Act. So the plan here is that if Texas decides to move forward with redistricting, and by all accounts, it looks like they actually will, then that will trigger California to respond, to bypass the laws that California currently has against this. For example, they have to go through a commission. Gavin Newsom is proposing that they'll actually vote for it in a special election in November. Well, according to NPR, this new redistricting plan that Gavin Newsom is proposing would actually target 5 safe Republican seats. And currently, Republicans don't even have 10 seats in California. That's right. Democrats control 43 of California's 52 seats. And if you consider the fact that Republicans generally win 40% of the vote in California in any given election, it's very clear that California is gerrymandered, and they've actually taken votes away. They've taken representation away from the Republicans. Yet, Gavin Newsom, his cronies like Adam Schiff, they all want to ignore that. Take a look at what Adam Schiff had to say. And I don't know about you, but to me, it sounds like he's a little nervous.
And we have come to learn, much to our shock and astonishment, that this thing we call democracy is fragile. And now we are on the precipice of another great threat to our democracy, and that is this effort by Donald Trump and Republicans in Texas to take people's vote away, to make the votes of those in California worth less, by taking lines in Texas that are already...
Okay, Adam, you've already made Republican votes worth a lot less in California. So it's really rich for you or for anyone in Illinois to criticize what's going on in Texas. And again, what Texas is doing is completely constitutional. It's the other states who have attempted to rewrite their laws, or in this case in California, who are trying to find different loopholes to be able to respond accordingly. Also, I just want to point out that after what happened in 2020, it's really rich for the Democrats to come out and talk about election integrity and to claim that Republicans are behind election rigging. I thought you weren't allowed to use that word. Well, Gavin Newsom finally got up on stage, and he was livid. You could tell he was just seething about the ICE agents right outside his rally.
And right outside, at this exact moment, are dozens and dozens of ICE agents. Donald Trump You think it's coincidental? No. Donald Trump and his minions, Tom Homan, tough guy, clearly decided, coincidentally or not, that this was a location to advance ICE arrests. Indiscriminate? Perhaps. We'll find out later. It was certainly indiscriminate when a 15...
Well, I have a question for you, Gavin Newsom. Why would ICE show up if there are no illegal immigrants outside? They must be doing their job. It's maybe because California and cities like Los Angeles have designated themselves as sanctuary cities, sanctuary states. And for all this talk from the Democrats and the media that, oh, President Trump is sending private police, he's sending his Gestapo to his opponent's political rally. Well, was anyone there arrested because they attended Gavin Newsom's rally? Was anyone there arrested for being a Democrat? Was anyone no, the only people taken into custody were there because they're in the country illegally. Now, there have been some cases, of course, where unfortunately American citizens, even those who have been born here, not just naturalized citizens, were unfortunately taken up in ICE arrests. But as I've talked in previously in other videos, part of the reason why ICE isn't verifying on the streets is because of how rabid the Democrats have become. They are attacking ICE officers. And so unfortunately, I wish things could be done better. And I hope that there will be better solutions as ICE gets more resources moving forward. But Democrats are the ones who are pouring fuel, pouring gasoline on the fire right now. By the way, it was a pretty sizable ICE raid. A CBS local affiliate had a chopper nearby and they got a better angle of everything going on.
Marks. We can confirm that Border Patrol agents turned up outside of that museum where Newsom was holding his rally. And it's sort of this latest show of contentious force by federal agents in L.A., which is really the heart of many of these operations that we're seeing from ICE and the Border Patrol. Newsom even asked incredulously during a speech, "You think it's coincidental?" and pointed the finger to President Trump and his immigration officials.
Democrats and the media, they want to cry outrage. They want to cry coincidence, coincidental. Was it coincidence that President Trump all of a sudden had his home raided? Was it coincidence that Roger Stone's home was raided in the middle of the early morning and CNN, they just so happened to be there and have his home raid, his arrest captured on camera? Meanwhile, these ICE agents are literally doing their job. Sure, the location, I wouldn't be surprised if this was intentional and it wasn't coincidence, but like I said earlier, it's not as if ICE was arresting people for attending a Gavin Newsom rally or attending a Democrat function. Right? They were arresting people simply based on legal status in the United States. So that's all that was going on. I mean, just imagine if these exact same agents conducted a raid at Home Depot while Gavin Newsom was speaking. Do you think the Democrats would be crying about the Home Depot raid? Why does it matter where this raid happens? If federal law enforcement, if ICE agents, Border Patrol are doing what they're supposed to do, why does the specific location matter? Are you suggesting, Democrats, that your rallies are now safe havens, safe spots, that those are sanctuary rallies and, anyone who's here illegally can go there and be safe? Is that what you're implying? It wasn't just Gavin Newsom and Adam Schiff who were up in arms about this. Karen Bass showed the most passion I've ever seen her share. If only she had responded this passionately and vigorously after the wildfires.
Not believe that this just happened to be a coincidence.
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting, and they decided they were going to come and thumb their nose in front of the governor's face. Why would you do that? That is unbelievably disrespectful. It's a provocative act. They're talking about disorder in Los Angeles, and they are the source of the disorder in Los Angeles right now. This is just completely unacceptable. This is a administration, this is a Customs and Border Patrol that has gone amok. This absolutely has to stop. There was no danger here. There was no need to detain anyone here. And there was certainly no need to have a provocative act right here where the governor is having a press conference.
Personally, I don't see how it's a provocative act unless Karen Bass is implying that her, Adam Schiff's, and Gavin Newsom's citizenship is somehow in question. Like, how would it be provocative if they're not the ones being targeted, if their supporters, American citizens, Democrats, people who are eligible to vote, aren't being targeted in this raid? I mean, it's not as if ICE went inside the rally and checked the status of every single person, all, 100 or so people who were sitting behind Gavin Newsom. Well, Scott Jennings had a great take on this on CNN, and he actually mirrored a lot of what I've been saying when it comes to, if you take a look at the vote percentages Republicans get in states like California and Illinois, it's very clear that Democrats have already been playing this gerrymandering game for years. But before we get to that clip, again, I would like to acknowledge Jenny from the Beach, Greg Anderson, and Sue Wachan as the members of today's Governor's Club. These are people who have given tips and thanks to the Super Channel. I am so glad that you enjoy. And as always, Scott Jennings just absolutely hit this out of the park.
To summarize Gavin Newsom's speech today, gerrymandering is evil. Please vote for my gerrymandering. Of course, he failed to mention that it's already gerrymandered. Republicans get 40% of the vote in California. They have 17% of the congressional seats under a supposed independent redistricting commission. So we're going to further gerrymander the gerrymandering
by that
Texas
standard,
to act in the
by
first
that
place.
standard, Scott, Texas is also gerrymandered. So
you want to keep going? How about Illinois?
But here's the issue. I would readily concede it. No, regular census, the legislature there,
correct,
gerrymandered Illinois. That's right. It wasn't in the middle of the game, but let the other side, because I think, you can fuzzy up that, and I think you've got some good political, there's probably good sense politics behind fuzzying that up. But here's the problem, and you sort of touched on it. Donald Trump fundamentally does not believe in rules, in laws, in norms, in institutions. He believes in doing what's in his political self-interest, his personal self-interest.
Well, he's trying to get any kind of advantage that he can. Hardly unusual for a politician or a political party. I totally disagree with you about the popularity of his policies. I think Democrats are on the wrong side of violent crime. I think they're on the wrong side of illegal immigration. And I think they're on the wrong side of virtually every cultural issue he's put in play. I think we're going to be quite fine fighting that out.
President Trump, of course, has been playing by the rules. I can't think of a situation where he has disobeyed the Supreme Court. Compare that to Joe Biden, who openly said that he would disobey the Supreme Court. Probably the greatest example is forgiving student loans and just completely ignoring what the court said. And it's not just the presidency. You take a look at Gavin Newsom in California, where he openly talked about how difficult it would be to redistrict in that state. And he said they would have to take a look at loopholes and test novel legal theories. Now, in regards to this special election that he's toying with, that is definitely one loophole that he's exploiting, but it is, again, within the confines of the law. If you are coloring within the lines, I don't quite see how that makes you above the law and just acting out of your own self-interest. So please, someone make it make sense. As always, though, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think about the ICE raid outside of Gavin Newsom's rally? Do you think it was a coincidence? Do you think it was on purpose? And if you think it was on purpose, do you approve or disapprove? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, you are okay to disagree personally. If it was on purpose, I think it's a little petty, and I would personally want more than that. But President Trump, one of his signature traits is he knows how to troll, he knows how to get headlines, and he knows how to put out a message. And so I think that obviously will play to his base. For someone like me who is more on the independent side, I don't really like the political games. I can understand why some people like them. It's not really my cup of tea, but I know it gets people excited. And at the end of the day, like I said multiple times in this video, it's not as if President Trump is arresting his political enemies. ICE is still doing exactly what they would do. What does it matter if it was in a Home Depot yard or in parking lot or in front of this rally? I mean, as long as they're doing their job, they can only be in so many places. And at the end of the day, it's not as if the Democrats were arrested just for being Democrats. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.